Hello.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Reverend Kelly Isola, and welcome to the Dialogue Institute Ramadan Iftar 2020, but virtual Iftar. It's my privilege, it's my pleasure to welcome you this evening. We have, as usual, a wonderful evening planned for you. We haven't been able to do the fast breaking meal, the Iftar, in person this year, so we have gone online and we've gone virtual. Tonight we have a few special guests. The host organizations this evening are Precious Blood Renewal Center that is located in North Kansas City. That's we normally would be meeting in Kansas City here together, Kansas City area, but we're not able to do that. But our host organizations for this month of Ramadan are all for the most part, generally in Kansas City area. So we have the Precious Blood Renewal Center, and we also have Rockhurst University, and we will hear more from them. And then we have a very special guest, the Johnson County Sheriff has joined us tonight, and he's making sure that we just stay in line. He's here to make sure that we are towing the line and behaving. So I'll be back with you in a few minutes to tell you a little bit more about the Dialogue Institute of Kansas City. But for now, I'll give it over to Ayup Essen, who is the director for the Dialogue Institute.
Hello, everyone. This is Ayup Essen from Dialogue Institute of Kansas City. Greetings from the heartland of the United States to the people, to the beautiful people of this country of unconditional love. We have many friends joining us from different states, and our host families from Louisiana, while our speaker is joining us from Ohio. I just enjoy that this diversity. I talk about the translation of my name before, but to repeat, my name goes as Job in the Bible. So I already have a bonus point, I guess, by my name is an interfaith name, but my nickname is Baby Shark, Turkey Shark, White Shark. Who gave me these names? Me, myself, and I. Yeah. But one thing I forgot to mention before, my favorite American dessert. What is that? Pecan pie. But I'm sad a little bit. My friend Mary Lou, who is now watching me on YouTube, she used to make me pecan pie on my birthday, which is December 1st, but she didn't make pecan pie for me this time. I'm sad a little bit, but Mary Lou, please make again once we organize a farewell party to this COVID-19, okay? But anyway, I'm really joyful to be with you. When people say they are very happy that they are with us, or whatever, I was kind of questioning, like, why are you really happy? Are you really happy? And then I asked this question to myself, why am I happy? I think my response is, while many people are contaminated by the virus of hate, we are here and enjoying the fresh air of acceptance. Obviously, we are here for an interfaith Ramadan celebration. Fasting is not a foreign concept to our Catholic friends, that we just celebrated Lent a few weeks ago, I think 3 weeks ago. One thing, some of my Catholic friends do is giving up chocolate, dessert, I think, which I can do to a certain extent, but one thing that I'm struggling is giving up Facebook. Oh my gosh, I cannot give up my Facebook for 40 days. I would prefer doing Ramadan fasting for 11 months over giving my Facebook. Okay, but anyway, it's just a joke. When one of the most surprising thing, I guess, or common point that especially our Catholic friends and Muslims have is high reverence for Mother Mary. Mother Mary has a special place in the religion of Islam, and Mary is the only woman who has a dedicated chapter on her name in our holy book of Quran. So I'm gonna play a short video of Mother Mary now. And by the way, here is my picture before the statue of Mother Mary and baby Jesus, Catholic Visitation Parish, if you know where that is. And let's listen to this verse from the Quran. I'm just kind of playing the short version of it, but the full version you can watch later.
فاتخذت من دونهم حجابا فأرسلنا إليها روحنا فأرسلنا إليها روحنا فتمثل لها بشرا سويا قالت إني أعوذ بالرحمن منك إن كنت تقيا قال إنما أنا رسول ربك لأهب لك غلاما زكيا قالت أنى يكون لي غلام ولم يمسسني بشر ولم أك بغيا قال كذلك قال ربك هو علي هين ولنجعله آية للناس ورحمة منا.
The mic is yours, Kelly.
Well, thank you, Ayub. I don't think I had seen that before. I'd seen that video before, and I was raised Catholic, and Mary has a special place actually in my heart as well. So I want to take just a couple minutes and talk about the Dialogue Institute. Some people watching may be familiar with them, they may not be, but we absolutely welcome you this evening, and we hope that you are really to participate in Ramadan in whatever fashion works for you. If you haven't already, you might want to, maybe while I'm talking, get some food and bring it to your computer, to your desk, to the table, wherever you're sitting, because an iftar is a fast-breaking meal. And so at the end of the day, the fast is broken, and have something to eat. And we encourage people, whether Muslim or not, to participate in this. And if you have some food or drink at your place where you're watching, then later on, after the prayer, you can participate in eating and drinking. So there's multiple things that the Dialogue Institute does in the world and participates and offers. And one of them is Ayub. And so you just met Ayub. As he said, his name is translated as Job, and his nickname is Turkish Shack, Baby Shack, because he loves Shaquille O'Neal. I'm Reverend Kelly Isla. I'm chair of the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council, and I do a lot of interfaith work around the country and a little bit globally, actually, now. And I am, my ordination is with Unity. I'm a consultant, I'm a speaker, a teacher, and I have gotten, Ayub has welcomed me into the fold for the Dialogue Institute, and it's always a pleasure and a privilege every year to celebrate Ramadan with my Turkish Muslim families here in the Kansas City area, and as well to be able to sort of MC. I joke about being your flight attendant for the evening, but it's very much a privilege. It's something that's very holy and sacred for me. To participate with the Dialogue Institute and to acknowledge where we come together and acknowledge celebrate where there might be some differences, but also the foundational pieces that make our world just a little bit brighter, that make us all show up maybe as a little bit more as our most noble self. The Dialogue Institute was born out of the Gulen movement. Fethullah Gulen is a Turkish Muslim scholar. He's a thought leader and leading edge thinker in the world. He's a poet, he's an imam, he's a writer. I'm not sure there's anything he doesn't do, but he's absolutely committed to peace in our world. He's committed to interfaith and intercultural understanding and conversations around science and spirituality and faith and education, and just absolutely committed to creating a world that works for all. Not that we all have to be the same, but to support us all in seeing each other. And he is definitely a mover and a shaker. You can see he's won several awards over on the right-hand side of the screen, from Time Magazine, Foreign Policy Magazine, the Gandhi King Ikeda Peace Award. He just really is a powerful a force for humanity in our world, and the Dialogue Institute operates from that foundation. One of the programs they offer is what we're doing tonight, is the iftar, which is the Ramadan fast breaking dinner. And usually when there's not a pandemic, we come together in community with lots of different communities. There's police departments and families, universities, retail centers, every kind of church imaginable, and synagogues, and Buddhist centers, and Hindu cultural center, and just lots and lots of different organizations that are willing to host an iftar, a Ramadan, a fast-breaking meal, and to come together to learn a little bit more about each other so that we can have more of the world that we desire. They have an annual event that's called the Dialogue and Friendship Dinner that would have been April 20th, but because of COVID-19, we weren't able to do that. But we do want to highlight it, and I want to let you know that that next year, if you're in the Kansas City area, to please consider coming. It's several hundred people of different faiths, of different cultures, from different organizations that come together to say yes, to stand up for unity, to stand up for justice, and to see where we are all making a positive impact on our community, to see who's doing what, and how can I expand my network, and how can I be supported, and who can I support. And each year the Dialogue Institute also acknowledges an individual or an organization that is doing the work of peace and justice, that furthers the mission and the values of the Dialogue Institute. The Dialogue Institute offers water marbling classes. This is perfect for, I know there's a few people out there, because I've heard lots of people say it before, well, I'm not creative, I can't paint. Water marbling is for you then. If you think you can't paint, guess what? You can. Because it's the paint and the water and the mix and the oil, the solution, and it all comes together and it makes these wonderful patterns, and you didn't have to really do much of anything. Maybe you swirl a paintbrush handle through it, but you just put paper on it and it makes these beautiful, amazing pictures. The Dialogue Institute has Saturday brunches that are for dialogue, that are for learning, that are for being in conversation, to find the places of where we do agree and build on those, and also celebrate. Maybe there's some places where we don't have specific agreement on things, and can honor that, and can still build a world that works for us all, that can still build justice and peace and compassion. AYUP is, for me, in my world, when I first met him several years back, that's how I actually met AYUP, was the dinner with a host family. Is I got a text that said, what are you doing Thursday night? And sent me this address and phone number and say, here, go to this family. Go to the Huste family over, and give me an address. Or here, go to the Marat family over at this address. And I would go. And there was always people there that I didn't know. And we would just be in conversation and be fed good food and laugh. And it's always over food. I say that every time, each night when we have an iftar. Lots of things take place over food. The Dialogue Institute would be more than happy to offer you some coffee and baklava for an event that you're having. And they also offer it at their own events. They offer Turkish language classes and, of course, cooking classes. What organization would be complete without cooking classes? Again, another place to bring people together, that different cultures, different faiths, different food traditions. There are so many, even just I'm in the state of Missouri, and even within Missouri, there are cultural differences with food. And so even bringing that together, now imagine bringing different cultures from around the globe together. It's delicious, it's making new friends, but it's also building bridges. And then finally, the Thanksgiving dinners. Each year, the Dialogue Institute is happy to support a family or an organization in having a Thanksgiving dinner. And again, it's taking an American cultural tradition and making it global. And so that's also one of my favorite things. Again, being around more food is always a good thing. That's how we build bridges, is with food. And I say it in jest, but it's absolutely true. It has been my experience. So I want to introduce a few people that are representing our host organizations tonight. We have Dennis Codet from the Precious Blood Renewal Center in Kansas City. We have Bill Kriege from Rockhurst University, And we also have Johnson County. Johnson County is, if you don't know, Kansas and Missouri bump up against each other, and Johnson County is just over the border from Missouri. So we have Johnson County Sheriff Calvin Hayden. But first, we'll hear from Dennis Codet. He's going to tell us a little bit about the Precious Blood Renewal Center, and then Bill Kriege will tell us a little bit about Rockhurst University, and then we'll hear a few words from Sheriff Calvin Hayden. Dennis.
All right. Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Ip, for being with us. This is the third year that the Society of the Precious Blood and the Precious Blood Renewal Center have sponsored an iftar dinner, and we're missing being together in physically together tonight because the food is great, the companionship is great, and it's become a annual event that we really look forward to. And so we're glad we can do it this way, and hope for next year doing it together. Let me tell you just a little bit about the Precious Blood Renewal Center. We are a renewal and retreat center. We're set on a 30-acre campus just north of Kansas City in Liberty, Missouri. We have a very peaceful setting with garden paths to walk and a pond to contemplate around. And our mission statement that we try to live by is that the Precious Blood Renewal Center is a safe and sacred place. We offer healing and hope, renewal and reconciliation for all people. And we very much value our relationship with the Dialogue Institute of Kansas City because that interfaith component is something that we hold very dear and important to our ministry and our mission to bring all people together. Our motto is that all people are welcome at our place to find that hope, that healing, that renewal and reconciliation. We offer hospitality and facilities to all who seek that rest and renewal. We're committed to helping individuals and groups and teams from ministry and nonprofit organizations that seek to refocus or rejuvenate their work. That's who we'd like to offer in. That's the services that we provide, and we're glad to be of service in that way. And again, we're glad to partner with the Dialogue Institute for this important dinner, this important time for our Muslim brothers and sisters. So that's us, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Dennis. Bill.
Dennis, Kelly, Ayub, thank you so much. Everyone, thanks for joining tonight. Bill Kriege, I'm the Director of Campus Ministry at Rockhurst University. Just really a joy and a privilege to be here. Rockhurst University, again, a Catholic Jesuit school, university since 1910 here in Midtown, Kansas City. And you know what, one of our Ignatians, so St. Ignatius, the founder of the Jesuit orders, one of our Ignatian core values at Rockhurst is finding God in all things. And so St. Ignatius was really pushed the envelope of spirituality back in his day. And so invited people to find God literally in all things. So not just in specifically religious contexts and not just within one's own faith tradition. And so that's part of our mission with our students, is to try to invite them to find God in all things. So this is just another great example, a great privilege. Just one quick story, just a message of hope and joy. You mentioned that at the beginning. So my mother grew up on a dairy farm in northern Wisconsin, dirt poor, actually, a number of dairy farms. My grandparents didn't have enough money to own a farm, so they rented farms and they went from farm to farm. And every once in a while they'd go to town. They'd go to town for Mass. I'm Catholic, so they'd go to the small town for Mass on the weekends. And when they'd be walking out of church, they could see the Protestants, probably Lutherans, scandalous Lutherans, across the street walking out of their church. And my grandmother, really a tough farm woman, would grab my mother's hand and say, "Don't go over there and talk to those people." So just one generation back, as a child, my mother couldn't even talk to Protestants, Lutherans. And now here I am, one generation later, and I'm celebrating iftar dinner with my Muslim brothers and sisters. So just, there are certainly many days and in many instances where I struggle to find hope in our current reality, COVID-19 notwithstanding. But just being here on this day for this event, compared to where my mother's upbringing, and then just imagining where my kids may be and their kids, it's a reason for great joy and hope. So again, a privilege to be here. Looking forward to the evening.
Absolutely. I love that. That to be able to see that just one generation, like not that long. You go to the heart of your own religion, you go to the heart of every religion. When we can sort of let go of the unconscious, unexamined assumptions and uncover them and just be with the heart of it. So thank you, Bill. Calvin.
Hi, Kelly. It's such an honor to be here. You mentioned a little bit about our county. Our county is about 600,000 people, and I'm honored enough to be the sheriff of Johnson County. And that, you talk about the heart of every religion, and it's really love. And it's an honor I have about 680 employees, and we always look at what we do as not enforcers, but peacekeepers. And that's the essence of what we do. And it's such an honor to be here. As a sheriff, I'm elected by the citizens of the county. So I work for everybody. And it's such an honor to do that because, the good book, the Bible says there's many mansions in heaven, and a lot of them are represented here. And Ayub has been such literally a blessing to my life because he's opened my eyes to a lot of diversity. Our county is so lucky because the diversity makes it interesting, and it makes you realize that as an elected official, you work for everybody. And it's such a blessing to be here. I appreciate you guys. It's we got people from all over here, and it's very interesting. And I love we've hosted a couple of dinners with Ayub and the Dialogue Institute, and gone to the friendship dinners. It's awesome experience. It's an honor for me to be here and hang out with you guys tonight. So thank you very much.
A couple of years ago, I was leading one of these fast-breaking meals at the Lenexa Police Department, and I remember when it was the first time I had ever done one, an event like this with a police department, and you get to see where oh gosh, I didn't realize I had this preconceived idea about something, and it wasn't, but to very quickly see how just a dinner, a meal like this, and introducing some ideas about Islam and Ramadan, just, you walk away forever changed. And,
You do.
Yeah.
It's awesome. There's nothing better than breaking bread with somebody to sit down and understand that we're all the same. It's all about love.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us this evening.
It's my pleasure.
So our guest speaker tonight is Dr. Zeki Saridaprak. He's the chair of Islamic Studies at John Carroll University. John Carroll University is one of a growing number of institutes and centers that is really dedicated to Islamic studies at universities in North America. And so he really works to provide a balanced and responsible but academically rigorous education so that people can really learn about Islam in places that maybe there may not be much of a Muslim community. He's also the founder and former president of the Rumi Forum for Interfaith Dialogue in Washington, D.C. And so, Zeki, it's a pleasure. It's an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to see you again.
Thank you, Reverend Kelly. It's a great honor to be on this program. Greetings from Cleveland. We just break our fast. Some people are still waiting. I think our family in Louisiana is waiting still. So my intention is to give you like a short idea about the wisdom of Ramadan in a short period of time. Ramadan has very strong connection to the spiritual life. Basically, it is a month of spirituality that you put aside many things and then you focus on divine. It is fasting while you avoid some worldliness like eating and drinking. These are the desires of body. So you avoid the desires of body and you focus on the desire of the soul. Because human beings are made of body and soul, not only body. If you consider human beings as only body, your understanding of human being is very limited. That's why one Islamic scholar says, if you put a person's body in paradise and his or her hell in his or her soul in hell, can this person be considered happy? Of course not, because even if your body in paradise, if your soul is not happy, you cannot be happy. So that's why Ramadan is the time to make the soul grow. The Quran speaks about Ramadan, the holy book of Islam, and it suggests that it is not only something that Ramadan per se is the month of fasting. So fasting is prescribed upon Muslims, but the Quran says it is not only prescribed upon Muslims, but it was prescribed upon people before Islam. So namely, Jews and Christians, the Quran says, fasting was a divine prescription upon Jews and Christians as well. As we know, in the Judaic tradition, there is Yom Kippur. In the Christian tradition, there is Lent. So it is talking about that, actually. The Quran is talking about that. So the Prophet of Islam mentioned a lot on Ramadan and the beauty of Ramadan. For example, in one of the sayings, he says, when Ramadan enters, the gates of paradise are opened and the gates of hellfire are closed and the devils are chained. The devils are chained, like that's why the spirituality is growing. Devils is unable to prevent you from doing some good things, some kind things. So Ramadan has something to do with that. That's why it is a kind of competition towards paradise, moving towards paradise, basically. It is the month of patience. In Ramadan, you have to be very patient because it's requiring patience. You have food and you are hungry and you are not allowed to eat. One aspect of Ramadan is that it is about our relationship with God. Generally, as human beings, we think that we are the owners of this food that we have. We think that we are the owners. From an Islamic perspective, the real owner is God. So the food that you have daily, you should think that this is coming from God. This is not yours. This is from God. But because we are forgetful as human beings, we think that it is us. We are the owners. In reality, God is the owner. How do we know that? Well, Ramadan, the month of Ramadan teaches us this, because imagine you are hungry and the food table is ready, and there is about 10 minutes before sunset. You are not allowed to eat. You cannot eat. Yes, if you like, you can eat, but you don't eat. Why? Because you say the owner has not given permission. The owner is God. And God said, Ramadan is a fasting from dawn to sunset. So sunset has not come yet, and therefore you are not allowed to eat. Now you understand that actually you are the one that is becoming aware of the presence of God. So you are not the owner, but God is the owner. And this way, human beings are showing their obedience to God and when they are waiting for the permission, they are waiting for the permission to go to the divine table, the divine reception. And this, of course, is very important spiritual dimension, because now you understand that there is one who is the owner of everything. Whatever you have, he is the owner. This is very much leading to sincerity. So actually now you say, I fast for the sake of these honors, not for benefits of, let's say, becoming hungry. Yeah, there are some benefits, some physical benefits of fasting, but you just think that this is something that you do it for the sake of God. Of course, there are benefits. There are side benefits. So this one dimension, and this way, actually, you have the purification of soul, because now you understand God and you become much more aware of the presence of God. And that's related to the purification of soul. Another dimension of it is our relationship to our human beings, fellow human beings. We, as a human beings, living in different levels of societies, in different social status. We have poor people, we have rich people, and we have variety of segments of societies. Through fasting, especially for the rich people who are able to give, they understand the situation of poor people. Imagine a person who has never experienced hunger, how this person would understand the meaning of being hungry. How this person can understand. It is impossible. It's impossible to understand, because this person has never experienced hunger. Now, through Ramadan, voluntarily, because no one will be forcing this person to stay hungry. So voluntarily, he becomes hungry to the extent that he is really hungry. You know, like imagine for 13 hours, no eating and no drinking. What will be the situation of that person? He is or she is definitely very hungry. So now, through this experience, a person understands the situation of hungry people in the world. And this way, you learn how to share your food with people. You learn how to support those who are hungry people. You learn how to help them. If there is a situation, let's say in Africa or in your neighborhood, wherever you are, that there are some hungry people, now you can actually put yourself in their shoes because you have experienced hunger. And that's why, for example, there is a hadith of the Prophet of Islam. Hadith is the saying of the Prophet. I'm looking at the time, and I think the time is almost over. Maybe we should stop. But just few more words, and then I will stop. The Prophet says, anyone who goes to bed with full stomach and his neighbor is hungry, he is not from my community. Imagine, your neighbor is hungry and you don't care about your neighbor. The Prophet of Islam says that person is not from my community. You have to take care of the people who are in need. Your neighbor comes first because he is the closest, and then in your society, and then around the world. This way, Islam creates a harmonious society, because one of the big problems is the disorder between the members of society, the disharmony between the members of the society, hatred between the rich and the poor. We know many historical situations, you know, like the Russian Revolution. It was basically the revolt of proletariat against bourgeoisie, they were calling, you know, the rich people. So this creates an unbelievable danger for humanity. And Islam says, through this, you create compassion towards the poor, and from poor, respect towards the rich, and makes a bridge between the poor and the rich. And that's why Ramadan is very, very significant with this regard. And then one final point is about the relationship between ourselves, relationship of ourselves, to have our own relationship. What is that? Basically, it's about our health. When you fast, there are two dimensions of it. One is spiritual health, and the other one is physical health. So Ramadan gives us actually both dimensions. Our stomach is hungry, is looking for food, but you don't give it because it is the time to remain empty. So that's why I call it annual maintenance of the factory of the stomach. Annual maintenance of the factory of the stomach. Annual maintenance, it takes 1 month. This maintenance takes 1 month. While this going on, spiritual feelings of human being are growing. They become much more stronger because the body, because the physicality is getting weaker, so the spirituality is getting stronger. So I think I will stop here. There are so many things to say, but I think our time is over. So thank you very much.
Well, we actually have time for a few questions, which
Yes,
of
please.
course we do have them.
What to answer
Uh,
questions.
Yeah. So I'm always, and even though I've heard you talk about Ramadan a few times, I think each time I hear something a little bit new or in a little bit different way, and I just was really appreciating tonight how sort of the paradox of I might be fasting. Well, one, actually, I have to say first, I like your annual maintenance of, of this. Just the way you said that is it kind of made me smile, and yet it's very true. To do that for a month is absolutely a caring for the body and the maintenance. But what I was really struck by tonight was that paradox between if I'm fasting, I become very aware of like when I'm hungry or I'm thirsty, which is really, is a moment of being focusing on the self, right? And what's going on with me. And yet at the same time, it's about the other person in the world. It's about the other who doesn't have a meal and who needs support. And so it's that paradox of, I and we all at the same time. And it's really quite powerful.
It's true. Yeah, absolutely. I think that creates a harmonious society because now the rich people, based on this experience, will understand the situation of the poor people. And therefore, they can feel it. Yeah. Otherwise, they will not be able to feel it because they have never experienced. There is a famous statement in the French Revolution. It's very, very well-known story. When people were revolting, saying that we are hungry, we don't find bread. And the queen would say, if they cannot find bread, let them eat cake. She thinks that, they have everything, the poor people have everything, but that's not the case. Right. You have people who cannot find bread. So then share your bread because now you are hungry, you need a bread and you cannot eat it. But there are some people involuntarily cannot eat it.
Right.
You are voluntarily don't eat it because you are fasting, but there are some people around the world that involuntarily cannot eat it. And therefore think of their situation and try to help them. That's what Islam would recommend.
Is there, is it required of every Muslim to fast during Ramadan? Like it's not negotiable?
Yes, it is every Muslim who is capable from health perspective.
Okay.
If your health does not allow you to fast, for example, your doctor says you are not allowed to fast because your health will be deteriorated. Mm-hmm. For example, you are diabetic, like very high level of diabetics. Then in Islamic teaching, it says, listen to the doctor because doctor is expert and therefore you shouldn't fast. But any healthy Muslim who reach the age of puberty, be male or female, they have to fast.
So little children wouldn't.
Little children are not required. They don't, normally they don't fast. After the age of puberty, they fast. Sometimes they joke, they say for little kids, you fast today from morning to noon, and tomorrow again from morning to noon, and then combine them, it will be one day. So basically they try to make them happy, but basically they are not required.
Okay.
Some would like to do with their families, to participate in the family's rituals.
Sure. So we do have a question also from the chat, and asking, is almsgiving part of Ramadan too? Giving money,
Yes.
money to
Yes,
the poor.
there is. There are two almsgiving in this situation. One is only given in the month of Ramadan, and that is every individual in the family, including children. Children are not required to pay, but the householder is required to pay for them. And that is, I think, today's calculation, about $20 for each individual. So for example, if you are a family of 5, you have to give $100 toward the end of Ramadan to a poor person.
Okay.
That this person will find some food and eat. So that's called sadaqatul fitr. That I roughly said $20 because there are some various calculations of it. Some people will give more, some people will give less. Sadaqatul fitr means this charity of your life. God has existed, God has created you. So this is the charity of being created by God. And this is for every, even it says, it goes so details. It says like a fetus who has not come to this world, because he has been created now, the family has to give for that one even too, that $20 for each member of the family. He or she is still in the womb of the mother, but it is going to be given.
Okay.
So it's given that one. The other almsgiving that is called zakat. Zakat is different. Zakat is 2.5% of your wealth. So if you have money, you have wealth, then 2.5% is to be given again to the poor people. There are several recipients of zakat. So like the poor, the destitute, the one who is overwhelmed by loans, the new converts to the religion of Islam because of their difficult situations. So portion of this charity is giving to those type of people. The travelers, they cannot afford their destination to reach to their destinations. The Quran speaks of these recipients of zakat. And it is 2.5%. So really, if you are like a rich person, it makes it like a good amount of money for the poor of the community.
Yeah. So is it one or the other?
No, both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah, both. You have to give both of them. And generally, this is given in the month of Ramadan. The first one is definitely in the month of Ramadan. But the second one can be given any time of the year.
Okay.
But people prefer the month of Ramadan because it is an annual giving, and the month of Ramadan is a good kind of time. And then the time has come when the month of Ramadan comes. So people prefer to do it in the month of Ramadan, but you can do it anytime, as long as you mark it as the beginning of your giving, and then you can wait until the second year, and then you give it again in the same time.
Okay. I don't think I had heard quite that much detail about the almsgiving. So thank you.
Yeah,
thank you very
welcome.
much.
You're welcome.
So it's, as always, it's a privilege and a pleasure to listen to you and to have you join us.
Thank you very much, Kelly. It's a great pleasure.
And enjoy your evening. And it's time for the call to the prayer. So I know it's for you in Cleveland, it's a little bit later, but here in the Kansas City area.
Thank you. And
thank you.
All my colleagues, friends. And I had one from a Jesuit institution. John Carroll is a Jesuit institution also.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we have sister universities there then.
Okay, I did not know that. I love it. You learn something new all the time.
Thank you very much.
So now is the time for the call to the prayer, and we have a high school student, Yusuf Karademir. Not sure where he is, if he wants to pull up his camera. There he is. I will bring up a slide to so that you can see the English. Thank you, Yusuf.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
And so now we offer a prayer for world peace. And from the Hadith, which is a collection of sayings and actions of the Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, comes this: whatever is prayed for at the time of breaking the fast is granted and never refused. And so the peace, the world peace prayer that I offer to you comes from the words of Mahatma Gandhi. He says, I offer you peace, I offer you love, I offer you friendship. I see your beauty, I hear your need, I feel your feelings. My wisdom flows from the highest source. I salute that source in you. Let us work together for unity and love. And so the fast has been broken. If you have some food at your table or at your desk or wherever you are, it's now time to begin the evening meal. But while others are doing that, I want to introduce the Suraj family from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They will be, there they are. They will be inviting us into their home. I'm going to turn off my audio and video and turn it over to you. And they're going to share their table and some food. We're going to meet their family and just see how they celebrate Ramadan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our virtual Ramadan dinner into our lovely home in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So I would like to introduce myself. My name is Daria Suraj, and then my husband,
Febze Suraj.
And our lovely daughter, and thank you. You could sit down. You could sit down. So I just wanted to reflect on of Ramadan. So for me, Ramadan is a time of spiritual reflection, self-improvement, and worship. We try to put more effort into following and learning the teaching of Islam, especially during this month. this month, because of pandemic and also because we wanted to focus on spiritually, we wanted to make a simple meal. So I would like to talk about what we made today. So in our menu, I don't know if you could see it. I made some vegetable and chicken, sauteed chicken in the oven, some salad, and some vermicelli soup. So now I would like to turn over to my husband, Fevzi. So, Fevzi, I just wanted to ask you a quick question. So, Fevzi, what does Ramadan mean to you?
Okay, I mean, she practiced a lot in the lunch. She made me listen to her. So I don't even know what I will speak today right now. But Ramadan is a concentrated month for me. I mean, it both means dance spirituality and also intensive time for activity. I mean, you cannot generally gather both of them at the same time because spirituality requires understanding, and for understanding you need to stand. But for time for activity, it requires more move. So because you cannot get move and standing at the same time, generally we cannot gather both of them at the same time. But Ramadan is a kind of exceptional for in that matter. I mean, for spiritual life, for example, Dr. Sarah Toprak explained well. You are hungry and just close to the iftar time, breaking fast time, everything is ready to eat, to be eaten, but you are just waiting. You are listening yourself, you are listening, you are thinking about how hungry people are doing in this life, and you can get more dance in your spiritual life. Besides that, we have kind of 1 hour night prayer just in Ramadan, specifically prayed in Ramadan. And you have to wake up during the night at the kind of dark side of the night at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. To eat a light breakfast. It also helps for me. It helped me. It encourages me, support my spiritual life. And of course, we are reading, Muslims read a lot Quran in this month. In my life, I can say that about 2-3 hours, we are getting into Quran reading, and also the translation of them, how it can be translated in our life or interpreted in our life. And addition to this spiritual part of segment of Ramadan, we also have, it is the time of action. You may be familiar to the activity of Dialogue Institute in Kansas City, but most of the communities, Muslim communities, are similar to each other during Ramadan. We are organizing iftar dinners in churches, synagogues, different community centers and faith centers. Also, we are inviting people to our home, and not of course this year, but generally, and of course going to the others' home to break bread together. So all these spiritual and also activity times help me to keep myself, or to remind myself who I am 1 month in a year. So I am very much enjoying the Ramadan for that reason. That's it from my side, Daria.
Okay, thank you, Fevzi, for sharing your thoughts. Now I would like to turn over to my daughter, Fatma Faiza. How is Ramadan going? What is your favorite thing to do?
Sister and friends, and mostly I like to spend time with my family the most.
Oh, thank you, Fatma Faiza. So that's pretty much it for our ritual Ramadan dinner. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Sorry,
Sorry about
That's
it
okay.
was an accident. I did it. I did it. It's my mistake.
We love modern technology. So I didn't hear what I think you asked your daughter what was her favorite part of Ramadan, and I didn't hear what she said.
What did you say, Fatma?
Do you want to repeat? What is your favorite thing to do in Ramadan? Do you want to say it loud?
I like to play and mostly spend time with my family.
Okay.
That's
She
wonderful.
loves to play with her family.
Spend time with her family.
So when we're not in the middle of a pandemic and have to, just be inside our homes, is it usually is there a lot of community and family together for the meals?
Yes, I mean, it's a kind of different Ramadan for us. Generally speaking, in Ramadan, we were very active. I don't even remember how many times I ate just with my family. I mean, generally we are breaking bread with somebody else in their home, in our home, or in a church, or in a mosque, or in our foundations. But this year it is different.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I also enjoy this way because everybody has its plan and God his own too. So there is a reason to live the Ramadan like that. And for myself, I'm trying to become more concentrate on my spiritual life in this Ramadan.
Well, on that, we actually have a question from somebody. So on that note of paying attention to your spiritual life, Pat asks if there are certain sections of the Quran that you read during Ramadan, or is the entire book read during Ramadan?
In tradition, the entire book is read in Ramadan one time. In each day, if you read 20 pages, around 20 pages can finish. In the last person, it takes around 1 hour, and also the Turkish translation, it also takes around 1 hour. So the whole Quran is read both Turkish and Arabic by that way from, in my life in the 5 Ramadan.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I don't want to hold up your meal. We absolutely appreciate and are deeply appreciative for inviting us into your home and sharing your wonderful family with us all. So I don't want to keep you from your meal. I know you've been fasting all day. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us. Thanks a lot again for having us in your program event.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Happy Ramadan.
Ramadan Mubarak. So I want to ask our other participants, Bill and Calvin, Dennis, Zeki, and of course Ayub, who's in charge of everything, if you would come back on screen so that we can just see each other again. I'll turn it back over to you, Ayub.
So I enjoyed this event so much. Kudos to our guests, our Catholic friends who do a lot of charity work through their church and also Catholic charities. So thank you so much for sharing your love and joy with us. Fasting helps us to feel empathy towards hungry people in our world. Although we celebrate Ramadan now, we choose to fast. It's part of Islam, but also we choose to fast. But there are thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands of people in the world, even in our own country, in the United States, who go to bed hungry. So when we think of that, I feel like it's a luxury of choice that we make. And I want to play actually a short clip. It's a little bit funny, but also it's a thought-provoking video. It's You may be surprised to hear where I got that video. It's from British Got Talent. But then followed by a poem that I wrote a few years ago with the title The Vulture and the Little Girl. So I'm gonna play the video now. Just a second. And by the way, this is my picture before the statue of Mother Mary. Okay, I am playing right now.
I don't understand the British. I saw a beautiful British woman looking at a mirror upset. I said, what's going on? She said, can't you see? It's a fat mirror. I said, what do you mean the mirror's fat? She said, this mirror makes me look fatter than I really am. I said, wow, I think my eyes have the same problem. Misunderstanding. I'm from Africa. It's different. When we see someone overweight, we don't think go on a diet. We're more like, where did you get the food?
I think this video a little bit shows that people in other parts of the world have this issue of finding food, while some people have this issue of overeating. But anyway, so I came up with this poem a few years ago, and I want everyone to join me, and wherever you are. The Vulture and the Little Girl. I am the vulture that Kevin Carter took the picture of, the vulture by the little girl. You gave him an award and blame to me. Days later, years later, you paused and asked, what happened to this little girl? That I would eat the little girl. I'm an animal for you and I became hungry. I eat little living beings, but after they die. Not when they're alive. I cannot think as deeply as you are. Oh humans, please next time before you gossip about me, would you question yourself and adopt this little girl in this picture? Do not worry, I have also emotions. Come and pick her up. She is still alive. Let me conclude my talk with a verse from the Quran. Eat and drink, but waste not by excess. Quran 7:31. Thank you so much for everyone joining us again.
Thank you very much, Ayub. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you to the Suraj family. Everyone have a wonderful evening and Ramadan Mubarak.
And thank you, Bill, my colleague from Jesuit University.
Yes.